Hello friends, in this video I am going to talk about the interfaces and why we need the interfaces in the C Sharp. So basically in my previous video I already told about the classes and its inheritance feature. So basically in the classes multiple inheritance is not allowed. So that's why for implementing the multiple inheritance we use the interfaces. Okay, so multiple inheritance as not allowed in the C sharp, but using the interfaces we can implement the multiple inheritance. In C sharp the interfaces is just same as the classes, but the only difference is class can contain both declaration and the implementation of the methods and the properties, but in the interfaces you can only declare the methods. Okay, so let's move to the code and talk about the other things. Okay, so this is the class in written the main method, and this is a namespace. So I'm going to create the interface using the interface keyword, and for defining that this is the interface I use the word I for declaring the interface. Okay, let's suppose it's a parent interface. In this parent interface I'm going to just define, just not implementing, just define a method. Okay, public void get details of parent. You can also provide the arguments as per your requirement. Let's suppose if I am giving a string name. Okay, and now I'm going to create a different interface. Let's suppose I have taken the name iChild and just copy paste this. Public get details of child. Okay, so in uh, in the interfaces you can also use the inheritance feature, but if you have given the same name in the child interface also, then what happen, it will show you the warning that it's overriding or hiding the parent interface method. So you can use the new keyword like this, public new void and get details of parent. Okay, or you can change the name as you like. Now let's suppose I'm going to create a third interface. um, let's suppose this name is a child1 and its name is a child1 method, and it's going to implement iChild also. Is it possible? Yes, multiple inheritance is also possible here. Okay, so now how you use the interfaces in the classes. For example, this is the class program. Okay, and now I'm going to use the iChild, iChild1 and iParent. Fine. So you can use the multiple inheritance in the class using the interfaces. Like these are the multiple interfaces and you can implement those, but there is only one condition. Like in the interfaces you need to define, whenever you are going to implement an interface in any class, you need to implement all the methods which was implemented in the interfaces. Like in the iParent interface you have just declared, but you have not provided the definition. So in the class, whenever you are going to implement the interfaces, you need to provide the definition for those declared methods. It will show the error. Okay, like program does not implement the interface, so you need to provide the implementation. Like for parent class, console dot write line, you can print this name. Okay, so for other interfaces just like iChild and iChild1, you also need to provide the definition for those two methods. Okay, I'm just copying paste the methods and going to change the name. Okay, it's fine. Now this error is resolved. So you have seen here like how we create the interfaces and how we inherit the interfaces into the classes. Okay, so basically the interfaces are just more like a contract, and the class or the struct that implements here I have used the class for inheriting these interfaces. You can also create the struct for implementing the interfaces. Okay, so whenever the class or struct that implements an interface, they must provide for all the they must provide the definition for all the members that are specified in the interfaces. Okay, as you have seen, like if you are not providing these, it will give you the error. Okay, so by default the member of an interface are public. You cannot change the access modifier of the members, like you cannot provide the private or protected or abstract, all these access modifiers to the interfaces. Okay, so these things are not acceptable for the interfaces, it will give you the error. So by default these are the public. Then in the C sharp, an interface cannot instantiate it directly. Let's suppose in a main method, this is the entry point, you can instantiate your classes. Okay, like program is a class, program pm equals to new program. Okay, this you can instantiate, but you cannot instantiate the interfaces, just the interfaces iParent. So you cannot instantiate the iParent parent, just suppose prt equals to new iParent. So you cannot instantiate the interface, cannot create an instance of abstract type or interface. Okay, this is the condition for the interfaces. And the class or the struct that implements an interface, they must provide implementation for all the members that are specified in the interfaces. Okay, thank you for watching.